Maestro styles, you know we got one. Right back like we left something. We don't duck smoke, we want all of it. So line them up, Trey shot with the blade, you know we sizing it up. I'm quick to catch the fade, you know Styles making the cut. Cause we coming out clean every time that we showing up.
It's gonna be called The Barbershop.
Yo, what up, folks? Welcome back. It's another edition, brand new episode of the Barbershop Sports Talk Podcast. We are live streaming on our YouTube channel, Facebook page, Twitter, and Instagram. I'm Trey Frazier. That's the homie right there, Maestro Styles. Maestro, what's good, man?
What's good? Can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Yeah, I can hear you good, man. We good.
All right,
we locked in.
All right. What's popping, man? How was the week?
Hey, man, it was a good week in sports, man. That's what I was.
It was a good day yesterday in sports.
It was a good week. It was a good week in sports, man. We had a lot of intriguing topic, to say the least.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously we got the finals coming up on Thursday, but I mean, way to have some other shit to talk about leading into the finals outside of basketball.
It's like it's all manufactured, right? Like this was all like it was a plan. Like, hey, let's make nothing out of something. Let's make something out of nothing until we get to the real stuff. I mean, that's what it felt like.
I mean, I don't yesterday. Know, man. This starting to feel like the real shit to me. I don't know.
Well, we got a lot to talk about for sure.
Yes, sir.
And speaking of the NBA Finals, good, buddy of ours, Kevin Gray Jr., based out of Dallas, works for the Dallas Mavericks radio network, also worked for the local radio station out there covering Dallas sports. Big time Dallas Cowboy fan as well. Going to stop through in about 25 minutes and, we're going to, catch up because it's been a minute. I've been trying to get him to come through for about a couple years now, and he's been off to new heights. It's been about that. I've had him on my list for a while now, and I reached out to him a couple times, and schedules, and maybe just tied into the new gigs and stuff like that. Former X Squad affiliate too. We know him from back then, so it'd be good and exciting to get him on and talk a little Mavericks. He's got a lot of insight. So, but to the drama. Let's get to the drama. I'll let you kick it off.
No. Let's not get to the big, because here's the thing.
Yep.
Sorry to the listeners, but the drama is going to be a long conversation. Like I was sitting here going about my day waiting to do this podcast. I'm sitting there like, damn, I know Kevin going to be on the show, but I don't want to stop talking about the conversation when he come on, and especially because he got a window. We want to get the stuff that we kind of invited him for this.
Yep.
We want to get what he needs to talk about on his segment. So I don't want to get into Stephen A, Pat McAfee, Monica McNutt yet. I don't want to get there.
No, that's cool.
Let's talk about how Deontay Wilder got his ass knocked out over the weekend.
Okay. Wasn't on the list, but I forgot about that.
It's on my list because I was once a fan of Deontay Wilder, and I remember the last time he took the major L. He took that last L to Tyson Fury, and I remember saying, hey man, like I can't give up on you. You just need to learn how to box, and we haven't heard from him in like two years, maybe.
Something like that.
When I heard that he was about to fight, I'm like, all right, cool. This would be a good chance to see if he went to improve on his boxing, just the craft of boxing. We know he can knock people out, but did he actually learn some boxing tricks? Some skill.
Yeah.
He didn't. I'll be honest with you. I don't even know who the hell he fought.
I was just about to ask you. I'm like, who did he fight over the weekend?
I don't know who the hell he fought.
He was fighting that weekend. I didn't even know.
Yeah, so he fought somebody, and that somebody put his ass to bed. Jay Holiday.
Like, bad, yo.
Yeah, it was bad, man. It hurts to see somebody who I have an affinity for on the boxing, you know, like if with all the histrionics, how he go about himself, his character, all the, you know, the shit he do, like if he would have just been a better boxer, along with his punching power.
Yeah.
Oh my, we talking about the next legend. We talking about the next
pound
legend.
For pound the best. Yeah.
We be talking about the next legend in boxing and heavyweight boxing. But let's be clear, in heavyweight boxing, you know, where we a lot of people say that division is dead. So you know, we had an opportunity to get our next legend, and he just didn't put the work in. He just didn't put the work in. You know what I'm saying? Like this almost seemed like he was there. He took this fight for money, like solely, like almost like he didn't, like he just thought he could do what he used to do when he was the man. And nah, we hip now. We know how to fight you now, and you ain't got no better. And so, you know, respectfully, I don't know how old he is. I know he's older. Yeah, man, just go ahead. Like we won't need to see you fight no more.
So I got two questions. So number one, was this fight supposed to be, and you know what, maybe I think I have the answer, because like you and I just said, we have no idea who this opponent was. So my question was going to be, was this supposed to be like his comeback into trying to be that dude?
I think he just,
and I think the answer to that is no.
I just think he needed to fight. Like I'm sure his team was like, hey man, it's been 2 years. You know, if you can get this knockout, you might be able to get back. It's again, Tyson Fury just lost. You know what I'm saying? So it's not like there's a lot of, you know, Usyk, I keep mentioning his name, but the guy who beat Tyson Fury. I mean, obviously you would have to deal with him, but it's not like it's a whole bunch of and again, don't point me as the best, you know, boxing aficionado, but it's not like no big names in heavyweight boxing. So it's not like he would have had to do a whole lot to get back in the ranks. He knocked two people out in 2 years. Then we talking about him fighting for a belt. You know what I'm saying? So for me, it was like, after Tyson Fury lost, this is a good time to try to get in there.
The timing was perfect.
Yeah, to see if you can make something shake. But nah, he got shook. Wow. He got shook. And
I guess my other question would be, what's next now? Like what? Like what? Look, where do you go if you do? I don't
think he needs money. I think I don't know. Obviously, I ain't in this. I don't know what his expenses are and how much he truly made. But I don't think he's starving. Hey man, if you're not gonna put the work into being that kind of a boxer in the heavyweight division, hey man, just go ahead. I mean, I guess you can. Look, I think he can always get fights. So but I don't know, because this was a bad loss, man. I don't know. Like
to an unknown. I mean, in our eyes,
a casual fan, like I don't know who that nigga was, and that nigga put him to sleep. And I don't know if it's because that guy was so good or because Deontay Wilder was so bad. I know what it looked like. I know it looks like Deontay Wilder was just that bad.
Yeah, that's bad, man.
I hope, and I wish all the well for Deontay Wilder. But if it was my call, if it was my best guess is that him as a top flight heavyweight boxer is over, and maybe he'll get 2 or 3 more fights. But it's a wrap.
Yeah, it might be time to get into a broadcasting boxing.
I don't know what's next for him, because I don't know how good of a. I'm not trying to be funny. I don't know how good of a talker he is.
Yeah. Second career, whatever that is, the second career. It's time for him to get into that.
And again, it's not like he got to find out what his second career is right away. I'm sure he got some money, where he can survive and live until he figured out what his next step is. So, I mean, if that's what he chooses to do, God bless, and I hope that you figure it out, man. But I don't think boxing is for you no more. I'm just gonna keep it a buck. I'm just gonna keep it a buck. Speaking of boxing not being for you no more, Mike Tyson, man.
Yeah, that
it ain't worth it, Mike.
It
ain't worth it, Mike. It ain't worth it, Mike.
Now is he still trying to, like? I know they canceled it. I know they.
No, I thought they postponed it. Yeah,
postponed. Yeah, that's what I meant. That they postponed it. But You're saying, hey, don't even postpone it. Just
go ahead, chill, man.
Just kill it. Just kill
go
it.
Ahead, chill. Just it's like I don't know what his reasoning was for fighting Jake Paul, but your ulcer, nah, bro. Go ahead. He got sat down.
Old.
Like he got sat down. Let's be clear. He was whatever he was doing. He got sat down. Had to go to the hospital. Got sat down. Like, hey, bro. Like you're not 30 years old with an ulcer condition. Like, and you're not even, like you're 60.
Yeah,
it's cool, bro. Like I do believe that if this hadn't happened and he was in tip top shape, even for a 59-year-old, that I stand on it. I think he would have beat Jake Paul. But this ain't worth it, bro. Like I think your life is more important, and this could be a life-threatening situation.
So, what did Jake Paul have to say about?
I don't know
anything.
Know.
Okay, I didn't see anything.
Yeah,
I thought maybe you might have saw some commentary from him, but
yeah.
But yeah, Mike, Iron Mike, get well soon.
Get well, man. And look. You've made enough money outside of boxing, so it's not like you got to. He don't got to box. That dude is rich. He's flourishing in the entertainment space. He got the ranch in Denver. I don't think he does the podcast anymore, but like he can go get speaking engagements. He can still do movie. Like he could still. It's plenty of shit he could do.
Yeah.
We've seen it in the time in between this whole boxing shit he caught back. Like all of a sudden he want to fight again. So it's not like he don't know how to go out here, hustle, make money. Just do that, bro. I wish the best for Mike, and I don't want him to die in the ring. I don't want him to I don't want his complications to get worse because he in the ring, training and fighting and and let's be clear. I had him beating Jake Paul, but it's not like I had Jake Paul, like him dogging Jake Paul. I thought Jake Paul was going to get some hits in. You know what I'm saying? And Jake Paul, Jake Paul hitting a 60-year-old man, that's not going to tickle.
I always thought you maybe give him 3-4 rounds, and if Mike Tyson tires himself out, that somehow, some way, Jake Paul was gonna, get the win. I mean, that's kind of how I saw it. Now, if Tyson give him one good hitter quitter in them first 3-4 rounds, then yeah, you get you got your win for Mike Tyson there. But I always assume that if it goes 3 or 4 rounds and they still going at it, that Tyson was going to wear down and Jake Paul eventually was going to be the victor, and not necessarily give him the KO, but just maybe extend it to as long as they want to extend that. Because I heard that they were going to shorten it from the original, traditional 12 rounds. It was going to be a lot less than that, like 8. Yeah. I think it was 8. Yeah. So if it went 8, then I think, they would have gave, Jake Paul the dub right there. So, and for the fans, y'all don't need this fight. It's for the fans. You don't need this fight. Maybe the business of boxing is probably someplace saying, "Damn, like, we hate that to postpone it at least from that window in the calendar because there's not a lot going on July 20th." But if you're the fans, y'all don't need this fight.
Yeah, I agree. We don't need it. Yeah. What I had watched, obviously, I was getting ready to watch it, but need it? No, we didn't need it.
We don't need it
100%. I would rather have Mike Tyson healthy than watch him fight Jake Paul. 100%.
Facts. So in, I guess, music news,
sports and music,
music news. So, did you get a chance to listen to Cam's freestyle from yesterday?
I did, but yes. Which song? Not which one was better. Which one was? Are we more intrigued by Cam's freestyle or Darren Waller's R&B song?
Me personally, I'm more intrigued by Cam's freestyle.
I know who you are. So yes,
I'm more intrigued by Cam's freestyle, and that's not to say Darren Waller's song is not intriguing, because I think there's layers to. Did
you like his song, Darren Waller?
I thought it was okay. I thought it was okay. I saw
people killing it, and I was just like, I don't know. I don't know what kind of music y'all been listening to lately, but a lot of these youngins sound similar. Now he's not the best singer. Let's be clear, he ain't the best singer. But that's why the auto tune was heavy. Like like it wasn't a terrible song. It just wasn't like it's this thing I've always had, and you know this about me. I've always had this thing about athletes doing music. Mm-hmm. It just looks funny to me. Like, you big 6'7" ass nigga. Like, I don't want to like nigga got his shoes off. Like, nigga, what is like? I don't want to see this shit. I don't want to see this shit from you, dog. I just never liked it. The only Dame raps his ass off. And that's why I get, like he kind of gets the proverbial pass, and Shaq has just been here so long. So he kind of gets the proverbial pass from me, I guess. But everybody else just looks weird to me doing music. I'm sitting here thinking about somebody who doesn't look weird. That's an athlete that doesn't look weird doing music to me. Like, all of them just look weird to me. Like, you're too tall. I'm sorry, you're too tall. I get it. You're gonna say J. Cole is 6'4". He looked weird playing basketball. So, like, it's just weird. Yeah. It's just weird. And I get why the two things kind of intertwine, like why sports people mess with music people and vice versa. I get why. But yeah, man, it's just I don't know, man. The song wasn't terrible. It was just like, you look like an athlete.
Like, it was shocking to me. Like it came out of nowhere, and I'm sure
he's been doing music for a while. And by the way, he's been doing music for a while. It's not,
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's not his first song. It's just
I didn't know that.
Obviously, he was talking about his Kelsey Plum, and had the lookalike on the video. Yep. And that's gonna get headlines. But yeah, it just looks weird to me, man. It just looks weird to me.
Yeah,
it just looks weird to me.
I'm more, and like you said, me, so growing up on Diplomats and emulating Diplomats the way we was emulating them when we was in our wild 20s. The freestyle got to me, and rest in peace, Black Rob. He used the woe beat to go off on that, and the freestyle and the beat went great together.
Yeah. He slid. Like, I'll be honest with you, that's the best freestyle he's done since the whole it is what it is. Like, he does that every now and then with that's the best one he's done to me. I mean, by a mile. Like, he slid.
Yeah, he killed that one. He definitely with the beat and all that. Top 5 hip hop beat to me on my list all time. That woe beat.
I've never thought of that. I've never thought of that, but on when you say it, I can't disagree with you, but I haven't thought about it.
Yeah, one day I'll put together a top 5 just for me to think about it more. But as you hear that beat, I mean, it's a timeless, timeless beat as well. So,
and that's the one, because certain beats that. And not to make it a super music conversation, but it's like certain beats, like it's just meant for a freestyle. Like, Whoa is definitely one of them beats that's like that's meant for freestyling.
Yeah, facts.
Yeah.
For folks that don't know the backstory, so I saw the commercial early last week. So it's Ant-Man and I guess it's Boy or whatever, and they're going through receipts of folks that have said negative things about him. So one of the things that was on one of the receipts was Cam saying how Ant-Man is a great player or nice player or whatever, but not a superstar
yet.
And so his homie in the commercial kind of took a jab at Cam's platform, says, yeah, it is what it ain't, whatever. So Cam addressed it in the freestyle, and he kind of explained it. He being Cam, he kind of explained, hey, look, me and Ant-Man, we cool. I like the kid. But we saw the little dig, in the commercial to the platform and all that. But he just basically said, yo, I just had to go back at him. I just had to go at Ant-Man.
Yeah, let's be clear. Let's be clear. And that comment that they read from the commercial was not a bad comment. Let's be clear.
Not at all.
Clear. Yep. He ain't a superstar yet. He's on his way there.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know when he actually said he ain't a superstar yet, because he's probably closer to being a superstar now than he was back when Cam said that. But let's be clear, he ain't a superstar yet. So I mean, cool. Like, you should use that type of shit for fuel. Cool. Like, let's be clear. Let's be clear. Right now, my favorite basketball player right now for me is Anthony Edwards. I want him to win. I want him to get a ring next year. I want him to win MVP. I want all the positive things. I like that he took the jab at Cameron.
Yep.
I like it. I love it. I like it.
I love it. And you know what else it means too? You know what else it means too? And even Cam alluded to it. Hey man, we started this, this podcast, this platform, and now niggas is talking about us. Yeah. We on niggas' radar now. Yeah. And stuff. And that's great for, with Cam. And even Cam addressed the whole CNN thing in the freestyle too. Yeah. So, they're getting Cam is getting a lot of love. He's getting we know like Cam, like not to be on him too crazy, but excuse me, but Cam can be outside. Can be outside. Cam know enough about basketball to have conversations. He's clearly having conversations with these people because these people are talking back. He's getting these people to come on his platform. You know what I'm saying? So look, right.
This was a good move for Cam. Like, a lot of people talk about Joe Budden's ascension when he in podcasting, like how he, this is kind of that same thing for Cam. He's same thing for Nori with Drink Champs. Like, these rappers or ex-rappers, or I can't call Cam an ex-rapper, but they're finding their you get done playing basketball, they're finding their second job, I guess is the best way. Their next step in life. They're finding ways to make money.
Yeah. That's a better way to describe it. They're looking for their second careers. Yeah.
So they're finding. He found his second career. This is a good thing for him. This is a good thing for Mace. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to him, and shout out to him for becoming the culture and holding it down. Holding it down. So look, I like it. I like what Ant-Man did. I like what Cam did. I like the angle. And shout out to Arabia on Twitter. I know you probably speak to her more than I do, but shout out to her, like him saying, shouting her out and recognizing what she's doing. But I never noticed the whole Adidas people, Adidas shoes injuring people. I never like that angle he took attacking Adidas. Was that fire. Fire.
Thank you for bringing that up because I wanted to have a little dialogue in regard to that. Number one, man, I wish he didn't have to show the Kevin Ware injury, because I remember watching that game live, the Louisville game in the tournament. I remember watching his leg break, in live action, and that thing was ugly, and I ain't never wanted to see that again. And he had the visual up there. I was like, man, I didn't like that being shown. And then the other part too, with regards to Adidas, Adidas has to look at this as a distraction, because I think folks will look at that and say, this is from Adidas stuff, maybe we want to rethink this, whenever we're going to get a shoe deal. Maybe Adidas might be a little bit down on the list of sneaker brands that we want to go to. So if I'm Adidas, I'm probably looking at that as, oh snap, like we really gonna have to, we gotta figure something out here.
Yeah, I don't think they do though. Let's be clear that those Anthony Edwards shoes are the hottest basketball shoes out right this second.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? Yeezys are still Yeezys. They just did a crazy restock yesterday, I think, and then they about to do another one tomorrow. Like Adidas is still gonna be Adidas. Like they are still taking their upward climb because the Anthony Edwards shoes are going crazy. I don't necessarily care for the James Hardens, but a lot of people liking them James Hardens. They got a like a zipper shoe that I seen that came out earlier in the year that I'm still trying to get them. funds pending. But you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like Adidas is doing some good shit as far as designer shoes. Now, I don't play a whole lot of basketball, obviously, so I don't know how that holds up, how it holds up from that. But right now the stocks are high, and to be honest with you, Cam even dissing Adidas ain't even going to be a bad thing for Adidas. It is going to bring more attention to Adidas.
Well, yes, it brought more attention to Adidas, and you're right as far as their current players and the deals that they have now. Anthony Edwards, that's the hottest shoe. That's not what I'm referring to when I say it's an external distraction. What I mean by that is that I'm thinking about the athletes coming up that are looking at potential shoe deals, and them thinking about, ooh, is this a good idea to go with Adidas, or should we go to Nike, Under Armour, you name it. I'm thinking about the next crop of athletes that look at this and say, maybe we want to back off. Maybe. Just a thought. Just a thought. Just a thought.
Maybe. I'm not disagreeing with you. I am disagreeing with you, but I'm not saying I don't know, or I don't have a concrete opinion on. Yeah, that's definitely what I think is going to be.
From the business part of it, yeah.
What I know right now is that if Ant-Man is the next star, and we all believe him to be the next star, he got to deal with Adidas right now, and his shoe is the most popular basketball shoe right now. Like maybe you put obviously the Kobe's are still there, but right now, and the Jordan, I think the Jordan 36s, whatever they are, the Jason Tatum's or what, those are the three. And Alonzo and the Pumas, Alonzo's, but like those are like, you know what I'm saying? But right now, Adidas is right there as far as competing for basketball, like basketball performance shoes. Adidas is right there. They right there with everybody else in the market. I would venture to say that they got the slight lead in that juncture over Jordans and Nikes, or that's the same thing, but like right now, I think Adidas got that on smash right now. I think the only thing that's keeping Nike in the game are the Kobe's, like the reverse Grinches. I think they Kobe sixes. I think that's the only thing that's keeping them in the game in competition with Adidas.
Yeah.
So I think they'll be fine.
Comments in the IG live chat. My guy, Hispanic Causing Panic, was good, man. It's been a minute. He agrees Deontay Wilder's finish. Got my guy Rod Cali from out there in the Bay.
Yes, sir.
He had a comment about Dame Lillard, basically saying he can make the move to music. He doesn't look weird, doing music. And I agree. I mean, we all agree. Damian Lillard, as far as like the music concern,
he gets the pass. He definitely does. He gets the pass for me. But I would also be honest that I've never watched a Dame Lillard music video, so I don't know how it looks. I know I like. I know I've heard songs from him. I know that when I listen to him rap, he can rap. Like I don't think anybody that listens to rap listens to him and say, "Oh, that nigga can't rap." So we know he could rap. I think, like I said, I think I gave him and Shaq the pass. I think everybody else look weird.
Yeah,
I do.
Roy Jones.
Yeah, I think all of them look weird. I do. I don't know. I don't know what it is about. I don't know what it is about the discipline of sports that looks weird when you got a sports body doing rap. It just looks weird to me.
Yeah, I never thought of it from like a visual standpoint. I always just thought it was weird just to hear their voices on a track. I never
because some of them don't have good rapper voices too. I didn't even get into that. Like some of them just don't have good rapper voices.
Yeah,
Shaq don't have the greatest rapper voice. I'm just so used to it now.
Right. I've never tied the physical attributes to an athlete to their ability to get on a microphone and
bro.
And rap.
Like, nobody want to see your over athletic in shape ass rapping like with your rapper hands. Like, don't nobody want to see your in shape ass doing that. Like, I don't want to see that shit.
Shout out to my guy Tev Shakir in the IG live chat. What's good? What's going on? Hispanic Causing Panic. He said Rasheed Wallace was nice. I gotta listen to that. I don't think I've ever heard Rasheed Wallace.
I've never heard Rasheed Wallace rap, but I do remember back in the day he was beefing with E40 in the mid 90s. I don't remember the name of that album, but it was a album in the mid 90s. They had E40 had a song called Players Ball with Casey and JoJo. I remember that was the single. But the intro of that album, he was on there. He was dissing Rasheed Wallace. Crazy.
No doubt.
Yeah.
All right, let's get our guy up in here. Let's introduce the fella right here. Kevin Gray Jr., Dallas sports personality, Dallas Mavericks Sports Radio Network pregame and postgame. Also worked at 105.3 The Fan and also local NBC affiliate for a little bit there. Kev, man, it's been a minute, bro. Welcome back. And how's everything?
Fellas, it's good to see you. I appreciate y'all having me on, man. I know it's been a good minute since we've had a chance to have some conversation, but I appreciate y'all having me. I've been good, man. As you can imagine, it's a busy time right now with the Mavericks in the finals. Cowboys, of course, in mandatory mini camps. So it's never a break, it feels like, around here with the DFW sports team. But definitely glad to be on with you fellas tonight for sure. Appreciate it.
Yes, sir. You look like grind, man. You look like I'm looking at you in your face. You look like you grinding, man.
Let me tell you something. These been some 10, 12-hour days between podcast recording, going to practice, obviously getting ready for these games themselves. So yes, if I look a little worn on my face, it's because I'm out here, putting in work. But I definitely got enough energy to handle business tonight with y'all. So I appreciate y'all having me on, man.
Yeah, yes, and my man got another joint after this one too. So he ain't gonna stop working.
I do. Fortunately, I'll be able to have a conversation with Gary Washburn of the Boston Globe. He covers the Celtics and the NBA for the Boston Globe. So recording a podcast with him after I get done with this one. So the grind and the work never stops, especially during this time of the year for sure.
Yes, sir.
Before I just want to say quickly, because we go back to our X Squad days, several years ago. Yeah. And I gotta say, you were part of one of our best episodes in the history of the podcast. It was an episode where, and we took phone calls at the time. This was the time we took phone calls. And I remember it was a record-breaking 8 phone calls that night we did the podcast live. And the Odell Beckham trade news dropped while we were doing it live. And you decided to call in and tried to check us on the, on the trade to the Browns. But, obviously Ravens fan, Steelers fan over there. And I was like, I'm not worried about Odell to the Browns. But you called right in and was like, Trey, you should know better than that, man. It's Odell Beckham Jr. I just had to throw that in there.
Well, it sounds like you were on the right side of history when it came to Odell Beckham eventually, as it's all gone down, even though he has gone on to win, a Super Bowl. I feel bad because, of course, he tore his ACL in that Super Bowl. But, you definitely have been on the right side of history when it comes to Odell. Hopefully he'll have some success with Tua down there in Miami this upcoming season for sure, though.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Let's get to business, man.
Let's do it.
So the Dallas Mavericks are in the finals, and look, I'm gonna just tell you my prediction because I like to get to the shits. I got the Mavs in 6. But I got the Mavs in 6, bro. I don't
in
think
6. Okay.
I got them 6.
Okay. I love the energy. I love the energy.
I like it.
Yeah, I just don't think at the end of the day. And I'll let you kind of give a summary of the series, but I don't think it's nothing they're gonna be able to do with Luka. I just don't. I don't.
Yeah, that's the big question, because I mean the series for me is going to be, as we get to this point in the year, it's about the stars on both these teams. You got Luka and Kyrie obviously for Dallas, Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum for obviously Boston, and Boston, what they do have is a great starting 5, arguably the best starting 5 in the league. I would say probably Denver was right up there with them with the best starting 5 in the league. And they've got 1 through 8, and all of them can shoot from 3. I mean, they were the best 3-point shooting team in the league this year, and they do it in volume too. So it's not like they're only making 10, 12 threes a game. No, they're taking and making a bunch of threes as well, and that's kind of what they do, offensively. But the question will be, can that team overcome what has become arguably the best duo right now in the game in Luka and Kyrie? Of course, Luka coming off the Western Conference Finals MVP, Kyrie Irving finding his stride as the playoffs have continued. And the question I would ask for people going into this series, which duo do you trust the most? Do you trust Luka and Kyrie as far as that duo is concerned? Do you trust Jaylen Brown and and Jason Tatum in this series and their group that they're going to be supported by. So, yeah, for me, this is about the stars of this series because Boston, I think, has more of the pressure to win this series. They're the best team in the regular season, won 64 games. They're back in the finals for the second time in 3 years. This is their series to win, and it would be a major disappointment if they don't, win their 18th championship in franchise history. If you're the Mavericks, to your point, Maestro, you can just play with confidence, play loose, play fun, and just go out and do what you do because low key, you're not even supposed to be here anyway. But I don't think the Mavericks are necessarily looking at it like that. They feel like they have earned their right to be here. But for those on the outside looking in, the Mavericks can go in there and just play loose and have fun because all the pressure for me is on Boston to win this series for sure.
So we're biased on this side here. We got no love for the city of Boston. I'm a New Yorker, so I don't like all their teams up there. That's a big, huge rivalry between Boston and New York.
Shout out to Juan Soto, by the way, who's out there crushing it with Aaron Judge and the Yankees, boy.
Yeah,
they bombing away. The Bronx Bombers are back for sure.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Just had to show that blanket back there. But but question for you, and I don't want to get too further ahead. We've been having a lot of talk about the league in general. There's no clear-cut dynasty that appears to be on the horizon. Like this will be the 6th consecutive year that a 6 different team has won the championship. You got to go back to the 70s, the last time that's happened. And so, in your opinion, are the Mavericks set up for a dynastic run, like in terms of salary cap, the Western Conference as a whole, the moves they've made and all that? Like, what do you see?
Honestly, I would say not necessarily. They've given away a lot of assets over the years to kind of get themselves to this point. Even the acquisition, of PJ Washington took a first-round pick to give up in order to get, him from Charlotte. And, the Thunder had to help facilitate the Daniel Gafford trade by getting a first-round pick to Washington to help get that deal done. So they've used a lot of assets over the years to try to get this to a point where they could make a run like this. But I mean, the West is so damn deep between the Thunder, the Nuggets, obviously the Timberwolves, and Edwards only 22 years old. I mean, the Pelicans. I mean, you've got a lot of terrific teams in the West that it's going to be difficult for years to come to try and be a team that gets to the finals, 2 out of 3 years, 3 out of 4 years, something like that, because of just how good and how deep the West is. But I think that's part of the reason why for Mavericks fans, they feel like if they're going to win a championship, seize the opportunity now because of how difficult the West is going to be over the next several years and the amount of talent that's there. So if you have a chance to do it, go ahead and do it now, because we feel like in the East, Boston's going to be there for a while. I mean, you've got Milwaukee, you've got a couple of the teams, New York, if they had stayed healthy, I'm interested to see how they would have, fared. But Boston's going to be there for a while. The Mavericks, they have Luka. Kyrie is 32 years old. You got another couple of years with him. If you're going to make a move, you might as well do it now in this finals, because the West is going to be tough for years to come for sure.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think, and I think we all agree that ain't no dynasties coming no time soon.
And honestly, the league has set it up so where it's going to be real punitive for teams to try and keep these quote unquote super teams together, or keep 2 and 3 superstars together at the same time, because I didn't even mention a team like Phoenix, who kind of is stuck right now with their 3 guys, with Durant, Booker, and obviously with Bradley Beal, and they've used a lot of assets to get those guys. So how you build teams and how NBA teams are able to put their rosters together now, it's a lot more difficult because of the tax aprons and everything else. It makes it much more expensive to keep these rosters together, which is by design to hopefully allow the talent to be spread out, through the rest of the league. So you don't have, a team going on a 3-4 year run like we saw the Warriors do here most recently.
Okay, so Trey, I'll ask you first. Predictions.
Mavericks in 7.
Mavericks in 7.
Ooh, okay.
I got listen. No love for Boston, but I like Jason Tatum. I like Jaylen Brown. I like Al Horford, who I think is a Hall of Famer player in the league, obviously because of his college years. So it'd be nice to see him individually get a ring. I got respect for their play and how they, their style. That's why I'm giving them 3 games, and I think this will go the distance. But man, that boy Luka, bro, just watching him against Minnesota in this past series. And yeah, they should have double teamed him, but the dude is a stone cold killer, bro. He's one of them ones for real.
Yeah, and I think that's part of what makes this series so compelling is because, I mean, for me, I mean, Boston has the right to be the betting favorite in this series.
Yeah.
I mean, I was telling someone the other day that, if I'm objectively looking at this series, Boston, for me, would win this series in 6 games. But I have the privilege of not being objective when it comes to this because, my team is the one that's actually in the finals. So, but if I'm looking at it, right down the middle, yeah, I feel like the Celtics would win this series in 6 games. But for folks who don't know, the Mavericks are 7-2 on the road this postseason, so they have no problem playing away, from Dallas. And only the Lakers had more wins in the clutch this year, than the Mavericks. The Lakers were 24-9 in the clutch. The Mavericks were 23-9 in the clutch this year. So in the last 5 minutes of games, you don't want to be in a close game with the Mavericks because they've proven not only during the regular season, but in the postseason as well that they don't give up on games, they don't quit on games. And more times than not, they can win these games, whether it be at home or on the road. You're going to have to beat them because most times they're not going to beat themselves to lose these games. So you've got to be able to out execute them down the stretch. So for Mavericks fans, they take a lot of confidence in that Boston can tend to give away a game or two, when it comes to shooting themselves out of games and that kind of thing. And you don't want to do that with this Mavericks team because they are able to take advantage of those things. And if you don't, bring your A game from the beginning of this series, if you're Boston, you could be in some trouble early on and find yourself down when you didn't think you would based off of how you feel about your team.
Yeah, that's my concern about Boston. I guess at some point, Jason Tatum's young, Jaylen Brown is young. So you got to think that at some point, or that they will, kind of grow and mature and learn how to get themselves. Like when you got them down, keep them down, finish it off. Yeah. But history would suggest that they don't know how to close things out. So obviously last year in the conference finals and then 2 years in the finals with Golden State, like you attribute that to, Jason Tatum is so young. Jaylen Brown is not as young, but around the same age. So you attribute it to that. But at some point you have, you got to cross that threshold. I don't know that now is the time. And obviously this would be a good opportunity for the Boston Celtics to prove, hey, y'all, we've matured. We are championship caliber. But it's something about Luka, man. It's something about that dude, man. It's just something about that dude that makes me feel like he gonna go. And when Jason Tatum think is gonna be trying to chill and he's not gonna be as aggressive about the moment, Luka is gonna be 100% aggressive about the moment. And he's gonna understand that this is a moment. Like I might not get this moment again. And I'm gonna go crazy. Like Luka might average 35 in this series.
Hey, Maestro, you can argue that of the 4 stars in the series, Tatum is the least aggressive of the 4. Because we know Kyrie can get his shot. You know he can go crazy. Yeah. We already know about Luka. Jaylen Brown is a dog. Yeah. Jaylen Brown, if there's 2 players that's gonna go tit for tat in the series, it's gonna be Luka and it's gonna be Jaylen Brown in my eyes.
Yeah. Yeah, so, and that's not to say that Jason Tatum ain't a dog. It's just a
he goes about his a little differently,
right? It's a bravado.
Yeah.
It's a demeanor. Yeah, it's a demeanor. And look, the second that I see Luka scream at Jason Tatum, I'm gonna have a problem. I'm gonna respect it, but I'm gonna have a problem.
I'm gonna scream all he want. He better have a response.
And that's the thing. And Luka, and you guys have talked about it already a little bit. He has no fear. Like, this is a young man who's been groomed for this since he was 15 years old. He's been a professional since he was 15 years old, playing with Real Madrid, winning Eurobasket. He's won, EuroLeague MVPs. Like, he has been there and done that in some of the biggest moments, and he will not fear anything. And one of the things that folks have now gotten the chance to be introduced to on a national stage is when fans start to go at him, he remembers and he will go at that person or whomever it is, Snoop Dogg, it don't matter. Like, he will go at them and make that fan or whomever his personal cause. And Boston fans, tend to say some things that, don't need to be said. And I'm sure someone will be that person that decides to try Luka, and Luka will find him or whomever and decide to make them his personal cause, and it could be a real long night, for them. So, yeah, Luka's got a killer instinct that I think a lot of folks are now seeing for the first time on this stage. That will be something to watch and behold, because he won't be afraid of the moment. That's for sure.
That's for sure. Let's switch to the Dallas Cowboys while we got you, man. Let talk to me about the Dallas Cowboys. How you feeling about the offseason? Early projections. I mean, obviously it's early, but I always like to speculate. I like to get people's cases this.
The roster's kind of set, really. I mean, we're past the draft, we're past free agency, so we should have a better idea of how this Cowboy season is going to go.
And specifically, how you feeling about the running back position?
Man, it's kind of weird that, I feel like we're kind of in the twilight zone a little bit, because, it was the worst kept secret in the league that Zeke was probably going to find his way back to Dallas, for this upcoming season. And lo and behold, of course, he's back, after spending the season in New England. But it's honestly, fellas, this was the darkest offseason in recent memory for the Cowboys because of how things ended so poorly and so badly in the wild card game against the Packers. And then Jerry making the, going all in, statement that Cowboys fans and folks around here thought, well, maybe they're going to finally do something to, really fortify this roster going into the year. And they really didn't do much of anything. And, having to recalibrate what that term actually means for this team because of some of the things that they've got, going on. And, they're in mandatory minicamp this week. CeeDee Lamb isn't there because he's holding out for a new contract, as he should, after watching Justin Jefferson become the highest paid non-quarterback in, NFL history. Shout out to him. And CeeDee Lamb's looking around like, I played this out perfectly because I'm going to be a top 5 paid wide receiver, coming up here in short order. Micah Parsons is at mandatory minicamp. He's going to be the number one guy defensively for this team again. He's going to learn a little bit different under Mike Zimmer going into this upcoming season. So interested to see how he responds because, Zimmer's a guy that gives you that kind of that tough love. He's not going to be that, that uncle that, the guy that, gives you that love that kind of like Dan Quinn did. It's a little different, with Zimmer. But, everything begins and ends with the quarterback. It's Dak Prescott. Yeah. And he's going into a real interesting year because, he's in the final year of his deal, his 4-year, $160 million deal. He doesn't have a new one yet. He could go the Kirk Cousins route where he decides to play it out in free agency after the end of this year and see what kind of suitors are there for him on the open market. Now, the Cowboys have consistently said that they want Dak as their guy, and I tend to believe them, but at the same time, they've had plenty of opportunities to get this wrapped up in terms of a new deal with him, and they haven't done it yet. So that will be, until that gets done, that will be the number one story in Dallas is when is Dak Prescott's deal going to get done and how do they move forward with what will be at the end, whether it be paying all 3 of them this year, 2 of them, and then paying Micah Parsons next year. They will have 3 of the top players paid at their position in the league with Lamb, Parsons, and Prescott. Facts. How they build around those guys and how they manage that is what the big question is for Dallas, among all the other things that they've got to deal with this upcoming season.
So based on what the Eagles did, what everyone else in the division has done, including the Cowboys, and it seems like it's a typical Cowboys offseason. Everyone is always begging for the team to make a free agency move, which historically they've never done. And so it seems like it's the same, regurgitated thing over and over again. Yeah. Should the Cowboys be the favorites to win the NFC East, or should that go to Philly in your eyes?
I still feel like the Cowboys are the favorites to win the NFC East, but I mean, you look at their schedule, they've got a tough schedule. I mean, they got a first place schedule this year. They've got a number of playoff teams that they're playing. And it's going to be
the best division in football. They got the best division in football coming up. Yeah, on the schedule.
That schedule is tough. So, and they'll be playing. Actually, they'll be seeing, the AFC North as part of their schedule this year. In fact, week 1, with Cleveland, with Tom Brady calling his first game on Fox. So we'll see the Ravens and the Steelers throughout the course of this, this upcoming season. So it's going to be, look, I'm really looking forward to that game. No disrespect to the QB situation in Pittsburgh, but I'm looking forward to watching the Cowboys take on Lamar Jackson this upcoming year, because that's going to be a lot of fun.
Sure.
See how
at Cowboys Stadium, I think, right?
I believe so. Yeah.
That'll
be, and I believe that'll be Lamar's first time at AT&T. I'll have to check that.
It will be
his first time at AT&T. So
yes, sir.
That'll be a lot of fun that day. But yeah, they've got a difficult schedule. They've got to navigate on top of the NFC East. Washington might be a little bit improved. I doubt it, even though they got, Jay McDaniels is going to probably be their starting quarterback there. Dan Quinn should make that defense a little bit better. But yeah, Philadelphia and the Cowboys will be the class of that division. The Giants are still trying to figure out, their way and what they've got going on there. But yeah, I would still have the Cowboys as a slight favorite, because I think they have the better quarterback of the two between Prescott and Jalen Hurts. So that's where I would go right now.
Your city's on fire right now.
Yeah, for sure.
Got a World Series championship a few months ago. The Stars was in the conference finals. They got knocked out, but they were still competing for a championship. And now you got the Mavericks in the in the finals with a chance to bring a chip to the city. When a few months here. I'm going to say this. I think the Cowboys, I know people are asking them, hey, do you feel like you're pressured to win for the city given the other team's success? I kind of feel like Jerry looks at it and it's like, no, we just gonna go about our business. There's no pressure over here. Like the fans is good. The fans got the World Series. The fans might get this NBA championship. I think Jerry looks at it as like, it's no pressure, because at the end of the day, I got Jerry World. I got my money. The Cowboys is the brand. We good.
Yeah, people who think that, the Stars, Mavericks and, Rangers success puts extra pressure on Jerry to win a championship. He doesn't give a damn. I mean, he doesn't. He doesn't. I mean, does he obviously support and is happy that the rest of the Metroplex is having this kind of championship success? I mean, you could definitely he definitely is happy for that. But at the same time, yeah, he's got his $1 billion palace in Jerry World. He obviously has the most visible and valuable franchise in all the sports and the Cowboys, and he knows that a Super Bowl championship would exponentially grow the value of the franchise, that much more the popularity of the team. But at the same time, yeah, he's not moved necessarily to do anything outside of what he feels comfortable of doing, just because all the other teams in the Metroplex seem to be having that kind of championship success, because he knows, as well as the rest of us know, the one championship that the Metroplex and for the most part the state of Texas still craves is a Super Bowl. I mean, no matter how much success the Mavericks and Stars and Rangers respectfully have, Texas is a football state. Yeah, football matters will forever be king here. So if the Cowboys win a Super Bowl, it will dwarf all of the other championships that are won here. But at the same time, it's really cool to see all of these teams have some measure of success. Even with the Cowboys getting bounced in the the wild card, there's teams here that are having making the postseason consistently, and at times making deep postseason runs around here. So
sure. My last question about the Cowboys: are they still in a championship window, in your opinion?
Oh man, that's a great question. It's a loaded one too, because over the last few years, I believe they have been. This would kind of be the final, I guess, maybe the quote unquote last dance, if you will, with this group, depending on, if Mike McCarthy is not able to get this team to at least an NFC championship game, I'd be hard pressed to see him back after this upcoming season, because he was brought here because he knew how to win in January and beyond, and he has not been able to do that for whatever for whatever reason. And then we mentioned Dak a little bit early in terms of he's going into the final year of his contract. If they don't get something done with him, he can go into free agency and have his suitors there ready to make him one of the highest paid players in the league. So yeah, for a lot of folks, and for me, this is probably the last year of this version of this team to be able to make that kind of run. And if they don't, all bets are off going into 2025 about what this team could be and how they compete going forward. So yeah, I would say this is probably the last year of that quote unquote championship window and opportunity that they have with this group here.
Yeah, for sure.
No doubt, no doubt.
I want to make sure we say rest in peace to Larry Allen while we got you on here.
Man, yeah.
Rest in peace. Yeah.
Passed away at the age of 52. Yeah, it was sad to hear that yesterday.
Too young, man.
Mm-hmm.
Anything you've heard around about not necessarily what happened, but how people are taking how people are taking it. I saw Emmitt Smith on IG crying the other day.
Yeah.
What's been the energy around there?
It's sad for Cowboys Nation because, as far as his dominance on the field, he was a beloved man and character off the field as well. And as Trey mentioned, gone at the age of 52, just way too young. And for someone that was as beloved as he was, it's sad to see him already pass. So, yeah, it's been real somber around Cowboys Nation, obviously, because he was part of those championship teams and, really kind of revolutionized the way that offensive linemen looked and played the way that Larry Allen did. He was one of the most dominant offensive linemen that we've ever seen in the league, one of the strongest for sure. So, yeah, definitely sad to see and hear of his passing because of how much he meant to those Cowboys teams who won those championships. And like you said, you saw the emotion from Emmitt Smith and how he felt, obviously about hearing that. So, yeah, definitely a sad time for Cowboys Nation for sure.
Yeah, rest in peace and condolences to the family and all that, man.
Mm-hmm.
But Kev, we appreciate this. We thank you for your time. I know you got to get out and do some other work here. We definitely got to bring you back on at some point throughout the NFL season because Ravens Cowboys is coming up. Cowboys Steelers
is coming up.
So yeah, we definitely got to bring you back to preview one of those two games.
And and before you go, I have it written down in my mental notes. I ain't worried about Pittsburgh Steelers quarterbacks.
Oh, I'm not. Oh gosh, you might have to go play counselor between Russell Wilson and Justin Fields. The way that that whole situation may play itself out.
Because I think we play y'all like late November. I get a sneaking suspicion that either Russell Wilson is going to be efficient enough or Justin Fields is going to be on the field.
Either way, y'all can't beat us. Now, TJ Watt's another problem.
Because let me remind you.
That's a monster.
Because let me remind you, in case anybody don't know, TJ Watt is still the best defensive player in the NFL. The best. I don't want to hear nothing about Michael Parsons. I don't want to hear nothing about Miles Garrett.
Because he's going to go up about Michael.
I don't want to hear nothing about Miles Garrett and whoever else you want to throw
Nick Bosa might have something to say about that too.
Nick Bosa, it's TJ Watt. And I don't know what he did to piss PFF off, but it's TJ Watt.
What his brother did to piss somebody off. But that's another story.
Yeah,
but Kev, let everybody know where they can find you at on social media and your platforms and what you got coming up.
Yeah, I appreciate it, man. You can find me on Twitter at Kevin Gray Sports. My YouTube channel is the same as well. I make it real easy, Kevin Gray Sports, for pretty much everything. So whether it be Facebook, Twitter, on YouTube as well, you can subscribe to the YouTube channel. The Mavericks pre and post game host on the Dallas Mavericks Radio Network and host of the Inside the Mavs podcast. So got a lot of tremendous shows up right now, getting ready for the NBA Finals, of course, and can't wait for Thursday night. For the Mavericks to try to start the quest to win their second championship in franchise history, and they'll be on this stage with an opportunity to be able to take out the vaunted Boston Celtics in this series. So I'm really looking forward to that. But yeah, at Kevin Gray Sports for everything on social media, on YouTube as well.
Yes, sir, my guy. We appreciate you.
Appreciate y'all, man. It's good to see y'all, man. Y'all keep killing it, man.
Yes,
appreciate y'all. Yeah, we'll definitely do this again.
Man.
Yes, appreciate it, man. Sir. Be safe, man.
Appreciate it.
All right, no doubt. The homie Kevin Gray right there.
Yes,
at Kevin Gray Sports right there. Dallas Mavericks podcasts and radio network, pregame and postgame, does all that good stuff. And I'm proud of the dude, man.
Yeah,
from what he's, from where we've known him the first time to, what he's become now. To get those platforms and everything. That's some dope stuff on his part.
For sure.
But definitely.
I do want to do a quick rest in peace shout out to Drew Gordon, who I believe passed in a car crash. Is
car crash? Yeah.
Yeah. Rest in peace to Drew Gordon. condolences to the family. Obviously, Aaron Gordon is his younger brother with the Nuggets. You know, I don't know all the details, but rest in peace. Condolences to the family. Thoughts and prayers.
Yep, absolutely. And while we're mentioning the athletes and their health too, Alonzo Mourning just had a surgery to have an organ removed. I don't remember which one it was, but he did have that surgery because I know he did have some cancer. He's cancer free.
Okay.
But he had to get something done to help, that process. So
Sure.
Alonzo, recover, rest,
Yes,
get well soon, get back out there. Still don't like the heat, but rest
sure.
and get back out there.
Did we know if Nate Robinson ever got the organ that he needed?
He did not get the organ yet.
Okay.
So that's still a thing. That is still a thing.
Prayers out to Nate Robinson.
Yep, he's still trying to get that and everything. He's still with us, thank God for that.
Yeah.
He's still with us there. So good luck to him. Shout out to our brother here, man.
My guy,
brother Alex here.
My guy.
What's good? I didn't want to post this comment during Kevin's time on here because we had to get Kevin in and Kevin out.
Yeah.
But here he's talking about putting Jason Tatum on Luka. Yeah, I mean, obviously you got to put a couple of bodies on Luka. I mean, if you ask me, in those critical moments.
But primarily, it will probably be Jrue Holiday or Derek White, and it'll probably be Derek White until they realize Derek White can't deal with him, and then they'll try to put Jrue Holiday on him. And to be honest, as good as a defensive player, I believe Jrue Holiday to be. I don't.
He can get spun around. He can. I mean,
I just don't.
Jimmy Butler spun him around last year, so he can. He can get the work.
I don't think he's going to be able to deal with him, man. I just don't. And then to Taz's point, like if Kyrie decide he want to start dancing too, it's going to be a long day for the Celtics. And to sit here like he got smoked for the Celtics. I believe that. Kyrie, he got smoked for.
Yeah. We didn't even talk about that with Kevin, but there's that factor too. He wants to embarrass Boston in Boston. I truly believe that.
Me too.
He can be humble about it all he want.
Yeah,
but deep down, he want to embarrass them niggas up there.
Yeah, for sure. So let's talk about white people. Changing the financial becomings of black people.
You started off.
Christian McCaffrey gets a 2-year extension, $19 million a year, which is apparently going to reset the running back market. First and foremost, congratulations to Christian McCaffrey. He is pound for pound, in my opinion, right this second, the best running back in the NFL. So he should be treated as such. With that being said, how many black running backs are going to start hating on Christian?
Oh, a lot. I mean, you think Saquon Barkley's looking at this like really, Giants? Y'all couldn't give me the keys to the franchise. Derrick Henry, and I know Derrick Henry has taken pay cuts over the course of his career.
Well, because when you think about it, when you're talking about running backs, the field, it's Christian McCaffrey. I think we all can agree that right this second, he's the best running back in the league.
Right now, yes. He led the league in rushing, I think.
It certainly was top 2.
Right. And
certainly led him in rushing touchdowns.
In the passing game. You got to consider him in the passing game.
And led the league in touchdowns.
Yep.
As well.
Yep. MVP candidate. Yep.
MVP candidate. Who's number 2, 3, 4, 5? I mean, we don't got to rank them exactly, but 2, 3, 4, 5.
But yeah, Derrick Henry comes to mind. Saquon Barkley comes to mind. And maybe this is with this guy. Maybe it's a projection more than it is what he was. But Bijan Robinson, I would like to think, is in that. I mean, he was drafted, high enough to be that. So I would like to think that he enters that top 5 at some point this season. That's just me. But
I'm
Nick
sitting here
Chubb, obviously.
thinking. I was going to say I was leaning more towards Nick Chubb, but we don't know how he's coming off the injury, how he's coming back off the injury.
And the kid from Jacksonville, Etienne. Yeah.
Man,
I think he's still got a ceiling. Well,
I'm sitting here thinking, like, look, Derrick Henry. Is it safe to say his best years are behind him? Right, his best years are behind him.
I believe that.
So while he's short, he's still a top. Like, I'm sitting here thinking, is he still a top 5 back? I guess you have to put him there.
Yeah,
but
if he's 5, cool. You know what I mean? If he's number 5, then that's cool.
I'm trying to do the fastest scan of running backs in the league that I can think of. So Nick Chubb, we said Nick Chubb.
Yeah.
This is biased, but I'm not saying
we could go by division if you want to stick in the North.
Najee Harris is not a top 5 running back, but he is certainly in that 5 to 15 range. So, but
I could agree with that.
But we're not there. But we're talking about top 5. So I won't. We can't talk Najee Harris right now.
Right.
And the East, AFC East, Buffalo, no. Miami,
no. With Mostert, no.
No. Jets, no.
Breece Hall, you don't
top 5. Hell no. Top 5.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
No.
But the ceiling is
sure. But I'm talking about right now. Who's the top 5?
I got you. In the South.
In the South, you say Etienne. Let's just leave him in the bubble for a second.
Yeah.
Texans.
Who's Houston's running back? Mixon. Joe Mixon.
He
might be 6. He might be 6.
I put Mixon in the bubble for a second. Jacksonville, we say Etienne. Tony Pollard, no.
And the Titans, who's the
Jonathan
back there?
The Titans?
Yeah, who's the Titans running back?
That's Tony Pollard, but the Colts have Jonathan Taylor.
Oh, right. Yeah. Is he
a top 5? Say, I'm trying not to forget the names.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna make some decisions. I'm gonna say Etienne, no. I'm gonna say Mixon, no.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna say Taylor, maybe.
So it's Taylor, it's Derrick Henry, Saquon Barkley, Nick Chubb.
Like Saquon, we got Saquon Barkley in our top 5.
Yes, I do.
Okay. And I'm not saying no yet. I'm just.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Something about that feels wrong.
Because who else is out there? I mean, go to the NFC.
Right. Okay.
You know what I mean?
Well, hold on. Let's go to the West first.
Okay. Pacheco? You putting Pacheco in the top 5?
No, obviously no. No. And he's nice, but obviously no.
Yeah.
Raiders, no. Nobody's over there.
Mm-hmm.
Denver,
but the Raiders, that reminded me of one guy. He's with Green Bay.
Right. I was getting there. Yeah, I was getting there.
Yep.
So for me, you Josh Jacobs for you, Saquon Barkley's better than Josh Jacobs for you right now?
Right now, yes. I would take Saquon. I would take Saquon.
You would take Saquon.
Yep.
Okay. NFC.
Well, Austin Eckler's with the Commanders.
Yep. No, obviously no.
But no, he's not top 5. I'm not taking.
You're not taking
nobody on the Giants.
Nobody on the Giants is top 5. Okay, and then Saquon of the Eagles.
I'm not taking
Zeke. In the North. I don't even know who the Vikings running back is on the top of my head.
Josh Jacobs. We mentioned Josh Jacobs, obviously.
I might have Josh Jacobs.
Detroit's running back is what's his face?
I mean, I know they do not David Montgomery, but the other guy.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking about. Jahmyr Gibbs.
I
wouldn't put him top 5.
No.
I wouldn't put it.
Okay, NFC South. You said Bijan Robinson.
Mm-hmm.
And that's really the only person we talking about, if anybody. But he ain't done enough for me to put him in the top 5.
If we're talking now, then I can understand.
Yeah, I guess he's there. I guess Saquon has to be there. I guess Derrick Henry has to be there.
Yeah.
Jonathan Taylor, Josh Jacobs.
Okay, so you leaving out Nick Chubb?
Oh no. So then Josh Jacobs got to come out for Nick Chubb.
Mm-hmm. So it's Chubb, Taylor, Henry, and Saquon and then obviously McCaffrey is the best.
Is the best.
Yeah, because you got to be
okay. So
like
here's my question
back.
then. Right,
Yeah.
sure. So here's my question. McCaffrey came out with a comment basically saying that he hopes this raises the running back market, and the running back market should be raised because the value of the running back should be higher, in my personal opinion.
Yep.
But Christian McCaffrey is here, and no disrespect to the other running backs, if we're talking about just production, he's here, and then everybody else is like there. You know what I'm saying? So how like so people like Najee Harris, who got a contract coming up, there's no way he's not sniffing $19 million in my opinion. Maybe I mean I don't know what your thoughts on Bijan Robinson in 4 years or 3 years, but
well, they got to put the production together, I think, because look, I mean, if folks want to call
the guys,
it a ratio,
not to cut you off, but the guys we named as our tops, right? Like Saquon Barkley got injury history. He's not hitting 19 unless he goes batshit crazy in these next years, 2 years. Derrick Henry is not seeing $19 million. He's not seeing $15 million.
Yeah.
I don't, you know what I'm saying?
None of these guys are. I don't believe none of these guys are, with the exception of maybe a Bijan Robinson,
right?
Maybe a Etienne. But those guys to me have to be integral in not just the run game, but they got to be in the passing game too.
Because they are paying CMC based on him. He does both well.
The production, right? Yeah, right. That's the thing. So none of those guys we mentioned in the top 5 are going to ever see that kind of money. Right. I believe. Yeah, it's going to be those guys behind those guys that's going to have that opportunity.
So, because I know for a fact, because I'm a Steelers fan, obviously that Najee Harris. Like we declined his 5th year option, but next year he's either we're going to sign him or he's going to be a free agent. Like that he's in the running for a deal. I hope we find a way to get him back in Pittsburgh, my personal opinion. But the tea leaves may, in my opinion, read that he is going to at least have to go look somewhere else. Unless he has
someone's going to be willing to pay him more than what Pittsburgh's going to be able to pay him.
Probably, especially considering Jaylen Warren is is good. He's good.
Yeah.
And he don't got and we cannot pay him, like, even when his contract time comes. He not going to be unless he go batshit crazy. It's not going to be $19 million either. It might not even be 10. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So unfortunately, I fear that Christian McCaffrey is not going to be the guy who sets the market, because he's just so good at both phases at all 3 phases of a running back, that he doesn't have an equal in production.
Right.
And maybe it's Etienne, because I know Etienne can catch that, but right now he doesn't have an equal in production. So I'm concerned of that running back market ain't going to I don't think the next running back deals are going to be somebody making $15 million a year.
Yeah, that's unfortunate, man, because I feel like these guys have been done dirty service. You know, going back to the last offseason with Saquon and the Zoom meeting with the rest of the running backs and everything. It's unfortunate because to me, when I watch the game, the running back is still crucial in the game of football. It's still crucial. Obviously. You still have to run the ball, like, at some point.
But let's be clear, though. But let's be clear. Production has gone down. There was a time where the top got 1,200. I remember having this conversation not years ago, where me and you said that 1,000 yards a season is longer threshold for a running back. The threshold is now 1,200.
Yeah.
Now, in the past, 3, maybe 4 years, it's going back down to 1,000 yards. Say what you want about Najee Harris, and because we all thought he was going to be a top 5 back by now, but he's had 1,000-yard seasons every season, every year he's been in Pittsburgh. Still, every year he's been in the league. So and nobody has done that in recent history. So it's like, the threshold, I mean, the standard is low. It's low because we're putting so much stock in wide receivers and quarterbacks, obviously. You know what I'm saying? It's just a nasty time for running backs because the game, people think the game is more exciting throwing the ball than it is running the ball.
Yeah. Only 12 guys last year rushed for 1,000 yards or more.
Yeah.
In the league.
And I don't know. I don't know. Obviously, I don't know the exact numbers of how it used to be, but I feel like at least 5 more teams had running backs over 1,000 yards.
Oh yeah, you felt like maybe about 19 of them guys had 1,000 yards. You know, you felt that way. But yeah, I'm looking at like James Conner had over 1,000 yards. DeAndre Swift, James Cook out of Buffalo. Tore it up toward the end of the year. The kid and Alex mentioned him in the chat here. Williams with the Rams got over 1,000 yards.
Williams, yep.
Karen Williams, number 3 rusher in the league, and that's really not saying much in the league that's been more about passing the ball. So
you're right, because what did he have?
Yeah, 1,100 yards, 1,144 yards. That's
number 3 in the league with 1,100 yards. I remember when number 3 had 1,300 yards.
Yeah,
I remember when number 3 rushing, like it was 1,300, and the other guy 2 and 1 was like 16 to 17 on average.
Right. Yeah, David Montgomery, Mostert, Etienne, Pollard just got over 1,000.
Right.
Joe Mixon, just to kind of round out the list of those guys. So
so look, as much as we don't like it, the NFL has clearly become a passing league. I mean, we know that we know that to be a fact. And when it becomes a passing league, then the running game takes a fall. And with all this analytics and shit that the NFL is into now, they look at these analytics and say, hey, we are passing the ball now. This is our plan to pass the ball. So we don't have as much as a use for running backs, and they don't have a high shelf life. Let's not forget that. So it's like, we're going to pay you less. And guys like Jaylen Warren, who was, 6th, 7th round draft picks who can come in and compete with the number one, the number one, first round draft pick in Najee Harris. It is a thing. It is a thing. And that drives the stock down. It's only so many Christian McCaffreys. If Chubb comes back off an injury, still is productive, I think he can get McCaffrey money a la Frank Gore.
So I got some information on that. So he was entering his final year.
Nick Chubb was
in the contract, before he got hurt.
Yeah.
So according to this, I guess it's Fox Sports, he took a pay cut. He agreed to take a salary cut. So now it looks like he's scheduled to make about $11 million this coming year. And then I think with the incentives and stuff, he can re-up to be able to get another contract after this year. So even with all that, he's still kind of in a situation where I don't see Nick Chubb getting that kind of money.
Because let's be serious. Let's be real. They're going to stay, unless he comes in this year and has one of those 1,400 yard seasons, 1,400 yards, 8-9 touchdowns. They're gonna lowball him. They're not gonna offer him $15 million a year. If he's getting what you said, 13. What you said, 13?
11.
You said 11. You said 11. They might bump that up to 13 just because you had this year and you were Browns faithful. Like, we know that this is your offense type of thing. But I mean, but let's not forget, man. Deshaun Watson's going to make $60 million this year.
That's wild. And Nick Chubb is 28 years old too, so that has to factor in as well. How old is McCaffrey? I mean, not that it really matters because
I don't know. That's a good question.
He's got the production, but
I would say he's around the same age as Nick Chubb. If I'm guessing.
Yeah, I'd say maybe 26. Maybe I'll guess at 26 years old. But that with him, it doesn't matter because he's putting the numbers up in both aspects of the offense. So
I'm telling you, man, that Shanahan offense. I was just having that conversation today about Shanahan. Like Shanahan, the family tree of Shanahan's. Yeah, they know how to coach the running back position, man. Like we was talking, obviously was talking about Clinton Portis back in the days and Terrell Davis back in the days, but even guys like Landis Gary. You remember Travis Henry when he played in Denver?
I was just about to mention Travis Henry because he got caught with selling coke and stuff.
Yeah, right. But
doing some time right now. But
right.
yeah, I remember Travis Henry.
Yeah, like he went into that system and cooked, like cooked, got his career.
Mike Anderson, I think, is another name.
Mike Anderson was another name. Yeah. They just take these. It's I was mentioning Jeff Wilson in San Fran, Mostert, and they just put these guys who weren't like quote unquote highly touted running backs. But you put them in that system, and if you got any type of athleticism, common sense about how to play the position, you're going to succeed in that Shanahan system. So
when we had Kubiak as the offensive coordinator years ago, Justin Forsett even rushed for 1,000 yards.
Yeah, right.
In that system, you can take any running back. Yeah, you
can almost take any running back and put them in that system, and they're going to thrive. And so now we're talking about a Christian McCaffrey who has the skill set, like a superior skill set at running back. And then put him in that system, and there's
not the most athletic guy, because athletically, I would take some of the other guys over Christian McCaffrey when it comes to the athleticism.
Sure, but what I think, I was having this conversation about McCaffrey this morning, where he thrives. I believe he thrives in understanding angles. Like he's quick, he's shifty, but he understands angles, how to hit the hole, when to hit the hole, that type of thing. It's a skill set. Like he ain't even that he ain't slow, but he's had injuries. He ain't even that fast.
He's not that fast. Yeah. He's not that fast. I mean, some of them holes is just sometimes some of them holes is wide open, and then there's other moments where it's like, okay, he got out of that one. Like, how the hell did he do that? And it's like you said, it's knowing angles and stuff.
Yeah. So but to that running back conversation, ain't nobody else getting $19 million no time soon. No time soon. Yeah.
Must be nice to be a white running back.
Yeah. And also must be nice to be the white female Stephen Curry, even though she's going through some shit nowadays. Look, man, I guess where do we start in the saga that is Caitlin Clark in the WNBA? 10 games in?
Yeah, 11 games in.
11 games in, 2-9. 2-9.
Yep.
Clearly the worst team in the league, but the most exciting team in the league at the same time.
Well, the Mystics are the worst. Sorry to.
Yep. I did. I didn't even know. To be honest with you, I didn't even know until.
Sorry to take the knife in there. Yeah, I don't think y'all won a game yet.
Yeah, but I didn't even know till yesterday morning. I was watching. I didn't even know that until yesterday.
But the Fever, record-wise, the second worst team. But the most exciting team to watch because of Caitlin Clark.
And it's really hype.
So yes, it is. It's hype. I'll start here. So. Because I made an appointment to watch Chicago and Indiana. So this is Angel versus Caitlin.
Yeah.
I didn't like the 12 o'clock Saturday afternoon start. This is another one of my pet peeves about the league pushing its stars. Like this rivalry. This goes back to college. And it's coming into their league, and I feel like they're not taking advantage of this rivalry. I mean, at worst, that game's got to be a late afternoon game where more eyeballs is on it, at worst. And the fact that just maybe a week ago, it was announced that game was going to be a national game. And in my head, I'm like, this should have been a national game when the schedule was released in the first place. So the league is dropping the ball, like, in certain aspects of trying to be able to help, push this thing forward, right? So obviously, Kennedy Carter, I'm learning about her. It's the first time I've learned about her, and for the record, for folks out there watching, we're casual fans of the WNBA. We're not new fans like some of Caitlin Clark's, fan bases.
I will accept. No, I take that. I mean, that's your take.
We're not new fans. We're just casual fans.
I will accept that I am a new fan.
Okay.
Me, Maestro.
Okay.
And here's why. Because when you get into the minutia of who what's her name that hit her with the shoulder?
Kennedy Carter.
Yeah, I get that allegedly this is who she's been long before Caitlin Clark.
Yes.
I would have never known her name, but they speak about her like she's a good player. She just doesn't have the best sportsmanship tactics.
Right.
Like you're not gonna ask me about who's the point guard of the Phoenix Mercury. To be honest with you, I don't know. Right. I don't know. So I will say to me, Maestro, I will still consider myself a new WNBA fan. Okay. And if I'm being honest, I don't even know if I'm full-fledged a fan yet. Not because I don't support women's basketball, but because we about the rabbit hole. We about the rabbit hole.
Sure.
I'm sorry.
We already there. We already there.
Yeah, because this has nothing to do with the minutia of everything that's been going on in sports.
Right.
I don't know. My disconnect with basketball is, and it's funny because I watched an Instagram reel today before the show that kind of summed up how I feel about the WNBA.
Gotcha.
Shout out to RDC World 1. They was talking about the difference between watching the NBA and the WNBA. And here is my biggest thing about the WNBA. I don't feel like I can hyperly criticize women when they do dumb shit if they make a mistake on the basketball court, if they do dumb shit on the basketball court. Like,
right.
And this is a flaw on me. I still like me and you get into arguments about men's sports, flat out arguments. Like sometimes, like I gotta check, like are we good, right? You know what I'm saying? Like sometimes it gets that intense when we're talking about male sports. The sports we like, basketball, football, really kind of just that. But you know what I'm saying? But I'm not so invested in women's basketball because I haven't felt comfortable looking at that chick or whoever, I'm just saying a random name and saying, oh, she's some shit. Like there's no hyper criticism. At least I haven't heard it. There's no hyper criticism from like it's always like it seems like people and again to the fault of us. But when have you ever looked at a game, an WNBA game, and yelled at the TV?
I've never yelled at a TV, and even when I watched women's college games, I've never yelled at the TV. Maybe the one time I did was when the referees got involved with UConn against Iowa just this past tournament. That may be the only time I yelled, but it was more so because I disagreed with the ref's call, but not with a player. But other than that, to your point, no.
I don't know a person who is emotionally invested in the WNBA. I'm not talking about people who cover the sport. I'm not talking about people who do it for a living. And like, I've never seen
a fan.
Not even, no, I won't say that because I've seen fans, but I've never seen a fight, an argument, or anything. Like nobody talks about who's better, Asia Wilson or Candace Parker when Candace Parker was doing her thing. Nobody has arguments or like flat out arguments. And maybe it's my circles, but I like to think that I'm in a pretty.
I think I have an answer to that.
Sure.
And maybe it's not the true reason, but shout out to Rika Foster. She covers the WNBA, but she made a point, and she did a Twitter space last night. I listened a little bit. She made a good point that there's not enough WNBA shows that's away from the games.
Okay.
Like the NFL has Total Access. Yeah. They have Inside the NFL. The NBA has NBA Today, inside the NBA. The WNBA doesn't have those kinds of shows where they do talk about, the 8-0 Connecticut Sun, or Asia Wilson is like a dog. She's the best player in the league right now, or what's the team? Chicago, or what Chicago's, how Chicago's doing, or things like that. There's not a lot of shows that have these kinds of conversations that can ultimately spark what you're talking about in terms of getting into those debates about who's the best player, who's the best, female point guard, those things like that. So I think that's what's missing with the WNBA. They need some programming, some content that's going to allow these kinds of conversations to spark and happen.
Okay. I will accept that answer, because if there's somebody on TV passionately arguing, then maybe we can come to a place where we can have passionate arguments about women's sports. I think that we are not emotionally invested. I think the majority of the world still looks at women's basketball while it's cooking and it's up in numbers, and I think we still look at it like parody, like these aren't real athletes playing basketball. And that's a flaw on us as a people. Like these motherfuckers could play basketball. You know what I'm saying? Like, say what you want. These women play basketball. They play professional basketball. Like, as we sit here and talk shit about, but we couldn't whip. I can't beat none of these women in basketball. I wouldn't even want to.
I was gonna say,
you know what I'm saying? So I think we're still looking at it like, ooh, these are women playing a man's game, and I think that's where we need to. I don't know what we need to do to kind of fix our thinking as far as that. But I think that is a major issue. Like, we look at it as more of a parody as opposed to a real professional sport.
The emotional aspect is a good point too, because we do get into that when we watch the NFL. We do get into heated debates. When we watch the NBA, we do get into these kinds of debates. I mean, what you're saying really is partly why baseball's kind of fallen off, next to the fact that there's not enough black players. But I mean, thinking about some of the other sports too, like the other sports don't really have those kinds of content that sparks those types of conversations.
And I hate to be barbaric.
Yep.
We need more dunks.
Yeah. I thought you were going to mention highlights as sort of being a factor.
Need more, we need more dunks.
It not being enough.
Dunks. We need somebody. We need somebody to get yammed on. And I'm not talking about fast break dunks. I'm talking about down the lane, cross somebody up down the lane, Burn Davis style. Like we need ladies. I know some of y'all are capable. I don't know why they like. Somebody gotta go crazy. We need a wing. We need a woman in the wing that's willing to go down the paint, cross somebody up, and yam onto somebody. I don't even feel comfortable call it like for instance.
Maybe Asia Wilson's that girl. That
I want to call like when we don't we don't do it on the show, obviously, but when we talking sports and we watching sports, we call it bitch ass nigga, whoop whoop whoop, you some we doing all that.
Yeah.
Imagine me watching a Mystics game and somebody doing something I don't like, and me calling her a bitch ass nigga or for that matter a bitch, like Pat McAfee. He meant it in a positive term, but hey, I know we'll lead up to it. Hey, my G, and I love Pat McAfee. That was a misstep, sir.
Oh, big time. That's being nice. I mean, a misstep is an understatement, bro.
Yeah, that was a misstep, sir. And I know you was trying to uplift in case he don't know, the only man that could call a woman a bitch is a gay man. Don't ever forget that. That's the only man that might get that off outside of rap records and somebody in a relationship. You can't just be out here calling women bitches, dog. Even if you mean it in a positive term, you can't do it, bro.
Nah. If Pat McAfee was gay, I still think he would still get the same smoke.
Nah, he wouldn't. You know why he wouldn't? You know why? If he was gay and he was doing all the with the tone and the all that, nah, he would get it off. He would have got it off if he was like if he had the whole gay.
I think you make a good point.
Right.
with the visuals of.
I watch it every day. I watch gay men call women bitches every single day of my life, and they just be like, and the girls just be like, yeah, I'm a, like not trying to be funny, but that's the only way that gets off.
Yeah.
I hope you learned your lesson, Pat McAfee. I hope they turned you up. You're still my guy, but that was a misstep, sir.
White privilege is a thing, man.
No, he's not getting that off. He's not getting that.
No. I'm just saying, if Pat McAfee was black, I don't know that he still keeps that show. That's just me. That's just me. That's just me. Because let Stephen A. have done that.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like let Stephen A. have done that.
Yeah.
Let Shannon Sharp have called the girl a bitch.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know that.
You make a valid point. You make a valid point.
I don't know that he's surviving that. I mean,
Shannon Sharp. Shannon Sharp. They think they calling Shannon Sharp gay anyway. Maybe he get that off.
Look.
Real shit though. Yeah. You make a great point. Like black people, because one thing about our black women. Hell no. Hell no. We ain't going for that. You crazy?
Ooh, yeah, a lot of ifs with that. Like if Caitlin Clark was black and somebody said that on live television, you're not getting away with that. You're not
getting that off. That's
nah. You're not. I should say you're not surviving your platform if you get that off.
All right, let's get to the age-old question. Let's just get to the shits, and I know we don't got a whole lot of time.
Yep.
Is women in the WNBA hating on Caitlin Clark? Yes or no?
I will give a definite answer. I'm going to say no. And the reason I say no is because I don't want to paint the league with a broad brush.
Okay, so don't paint the league with a broad brush.
Right.
Do you believe that there is 1 or 2 or 3 or maybe 10 women in the WNBA that are hating on Caitlin Clark because she's been let's be clear, and I'll just say it what it is. The chick who
Kennedy.
Kennedy, she's a hater.
Okay.
Not because of the basketball, not because of the shrug and all that. That was competition. She went on Twitter and said, outside of 3-pointers, what else does she do? That's hate. That is hate.
And the part you missed too, before the shove, and for context here, so they were chirping.
They were chirping.
A few possessions ago.
Absolutely.
They were chirping, but right before the hip check, she's like, "Oh, bitch!" Like she called her right, and then gave her the hip check.
Right.
So that's a part of it too.
But she might just have bad sportsmanship. Like
that's possible.
Two things could be true about her specifically.
Yeah,
she has a history of bad sportsmanship, but that tweet was hate. Yeah, there ain't no another way to slice it. That tweet was hate, and if that's all the evidence I have to go off of, I can take what you said about her sportsmanship in the past, and I can take that tweet and say, okay, she has bad sportsmanship, and she exhibited that on Saturday or Sunday. But that tweet was hate. Period. And I don't think she's the only person in the league that feels that way. I love what Monica McNutt said, even though Stephen A. didn't want to hear it because he was so caught in whatever he was trying to prove. Yeah. She said 2 things can be true. There can be haters, and there can be people who are just trying to welcome her as a rookie. Right. Like she should be welcomed, because ain't nobody talking about how Angel Reese getting her ass knocked down. Like that's not making the A block of an ESPN show. So let's be clear. It's really
because part of it too, and like you said, 2 things can be true at the same time. That was within the confines of a basketball play. What happened to Angel Reese? Yeah. The hip check on Caitlin Clark, that was not basketball. That was just, the ball wasn't even in play. Like it wasn't even in bounds, and she gave her the hip check. That's not part of any basketball play. So there are differences between the two, but there's also factors that make it what the difference is. Yeah. And by the way,
we all saw you call her a bitch and then hit her.
Yes.
Like I get that. I get but to her in her defense, she also didn't like what Caitlin Clark had done earlier in the game, elbow or something. I didn't watch the game, but I saw the clips. So even though it was within the context of basketball, Caitlin Clark did something that Kennedy didn't like, and she said, "All right, bet, cool. That's what you're doing, bitch. Fuck you." Yeah, straight like that.
Yeah,
I'm not even like I could see that if I didn't see the tweet, I wouldn't took her calling her a bitch so seriously, because that could be like, nigga, we like Kevin Garnett talking about used to talk about smashing Mellow Girl, like it was. Like, you know what I'm saying? And we don't bat an eye at it. We don't call Kevin Garnett a hater. You know what I'm saying? So I can see that in the scheme of basketball and say she's not a hater if the tweet didn't come out. But the tweet came out. And so that was a hating ass tweet. Carter is a hater, in my opinion. But I just don't believe that she's the only person that feels that way. And I agree with Monica McNutt and when she said, like, look, sure, of course, somebody is going to be jealous of somebody. I mean, that's just the way life works. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Somebody's going to hate on somebody. Like, let's be clear. Caitlin Clark is at the top of the motherfucking mountain right now. You don't think it's niggas under there that's trying to get her a spot? Like, of course it's jealousy. Of course it's haters. You know what I'm saying? I don't think that's, but that's not the entire league. That's just like, I don't think Diana.
No, it's not the entire league. It's
not even a high percentage of the league. I don't even think it's a high percentage of the league. But and the only thing that about the conversation that I was kind of being thrown off with, and I watched the whole 48 minutes of it on YouTube before they deleted it.
Yep.
He kept trying to push it like, no, just say it. Like they wanted her to be so adamant about youngins hate WNBA, like WNBA players hating. And it's like my nigga, we heard you.
Right.
I don't think it's as big as a deal as you, but Monica McNutt was trying to explain it's not as big as a deal as you're trying to make it. It's not as big as a deal as Charles Barkley is trying to make it. It's not as big as a deal as Shannon Sharp is trying to make it. Yes, of course there's haters. Niggas hated on LeBron. Niggas hated on Jordan. Niggas hated niggas hate on the greats. Like that's just what it is. That's just what it is. But don't make it seem like the whole league is hating and ain't nobody grateful for what Caitlin Clark brings to the league as far as eyes on it, money, chartered flights that got put that, you know, like
right. Because guess what? The league has been growing before Caitlin got there. Right. Sellouts, ticket sales, you know, what the Aces have been able to do to bring in another market into the league in Las Vegas, what they've done. The Liberty selling out games, all these places selling out games. All this stuff was happening. Now, if you want to argue the pace of the growth before Caitlin Clark, then
Caitlin Clark can be part of that motherfucker. Facts.
I will side with you and say yes. It was like it was this, and then Caitlin Clark came, and then it just went like that.
It went like shit started changing immediately. Immediately.
We have to acknowledge it that way. We can't just say Caitlin Clark has changed the league. New fans, because of Caitlin Clark, can't just come in and say, "Oh, these players got to be grateful for what Caitlin Clark has done."
But
it's not just that.
It's not just that.
Yeah,
right.
They should, but it's not just that, because these players have put in the work. Taurasi and Bird, they put in the work. Asia Wilson has put in the work. Right. You know what I'm saying? Caitlin Clark is just a extra piece to that.
And Caitlin Clark has put in the work. Let's be clear about something. Like let's just be very, very clear. I don't think that Caitlin Clark is a better basketball player than Asia Wilson. I don't, based on what I've seen. But I don't think Steph Curry is a better basketball player than LeBron James either.
Sure.
But what do we like? We like crossovers, taking the ball up and shooting threes from wherever the fuck you feel like doing it. That's why we like Steph Curry. That's why Steph Curry is the transcendent player he is. And Caitlin Clark is doing the same exact thing.
Yep.
Why didn't we think like why you can't like it works?
Yep.
That's what we want to see. And that's what's happening. And she's being elevated because she's doing what we want to see as consumers. Yep. So that's why she's being elevated in that way.
Yeah.
It's to me, it's just that simple. I mean, sure, white does play a part in it. Yes. absolutely plays a part.
A chunk of it, yeah.
But I won't say majority chunk. I think if insert random black player, if she was pulling up like Steph Curry was, or like Caitlin Clark was, just doing what she want and then pulling up from college to to this point now and was winning games, I think we would be having the same kind of conversation. If Juju Watkins was doing the same thing that Caitlin Clark was doing in college, we would be having the same conversation, I feel. Now, obviously, again, percentage-wise, and I'm just throwing percentages because that's what we do in speculation. Caitlin Clark would maybe be 20% more popular than Juju Watkins if they were doing the same exact thing. Let's say 35%. They, because yes, white and black is a thing.
And where she's from too plays a part. She's from Iowa. She's from a part of the country that don't get a lot of attention, and we know ain't a lot of black folks in Iowa.
But I think but I also think that if Caitlin Clark went to not a UConn, not like somewhere like a popular basketball school, if
Tennessee,
if she went to Tennessee, where she was still allowed to do what she does in Iowa. It would be the same thing. It would be the same thing. Like if the fact of the matter is that she goes on the court, entertains us, and wins. Like that's tickets. That's money. That's cash.
Yeah.
You're throwing cash. You making cash that like it's no way you're printing cash is what I was trying to say. You're printing cash if you got a white basketball player that just does everything not everything, but does what Steph Curry does at a high level, entertains us and wins.
Yeah. The league has a lot to figure out as far as like the marketing and how to really be able to not just cover one player, but to also be able to help cover the entire league. I think they got a lot of work to do there. There's no reason why the Fever have played 11 games and the Aces have only played 6 or 7 games.
That's crazy.
I didn't
even know that. When I read that tweet, I was like, what?
Yeah. Like, what they were trying to do, but you can't do that because think about this, because we talked about this away from the show, and I said something about by the time the NCAA tournament is over, you got the draft that's like a couple weeks after that, and then about a month later, the WNBA season starts. And so these female players don't get the long offseason. They don't get the long break between tournament play and, getting in the league. So the fact that she had to, she was in the final game of the tournament, draft, league start right away. And you're playing 11 games in 20 something days, 11 games in about 21, 22 days. That's a lot. That's a lot,
for the number 1 overall draft pick.
That's a lot. So the league has got a lot to do.
Yeah, I mean, even for the other, the other top draft picks like Andrew Reese and Cardozo, and
they've played about 7 games.
Yeah,
they played only 7-8 games. The Fever's played the most games out of everybody up to this point. So we know what they're trying to do. I want to get to the Stephen A. of this.
Yeah, sure.
I'm really disappointed in him for a lot of reasons. So I did watch,
and he capped.
Yeah. So I watched the full 40 minutes. And yes, Monica McNutt cooked him at the end of the segment. She just cooked him. And
what we doing, PG? What we doing, PG County?
Let me just say something here, man, because I'm biased, and I'll admit that. Pound for pound, and I'm not trying to make this a comparison or anybody, because I love all the women commentators, Shanae Ogumake and Andrea Carter, Roswell and Wude, just to name a few. But pound for pound, Monica McNutt is the best right now. Like when it comes to, female basketball coverage, what she's doing in the WNBA, covering the college game, and what she does for the Knicks during the season, radio play-by-play, television, things like that. What she does, she's the best pound for pound.
Yeah.
So there was no way. I seen a lot of tweets talking about, oh, she's not gonna be back on First Take. I don't agree with that because
I don't know. Now I think I disagree with you. I was thinking about this.
Okay.
Now,
Okay.
disclaimer: I don't watch First Take every day. In fact, I barely watch any TV. So there's that.
Yeah.
When he got into it with Jay Williams, Jay Williams had to sit down for a minute, didn't he?
Now that I can't confirm.
Okay,
I can't confirm that. But he's been back. But he's been back. But he's been on the show.
Sure, I didn't say yeah. But he had to sit down for a minute.
Okay.
Stephen A. Smith is very, very clear about if me and you don't mesh, then I'm going to remove you. Max Kellerman was removed because they didn't mesh. Not. I don't know if they had beef, but they didn't mesh. He went on every podcast run and said me and him just didn't mesh. It was time for something different. So if you piss him off, there is a high possibility, in my opinion, that he gonna sit you down. Like, how dare you challenge me that way on live TV? I could see Stephen A. having an ego about that. Not saying he's right or wrong about it.
And I understand, I understand, not to cut you, but I understand the thought of, hey, Monica McNutt might not ever come back on First Take. I understand.
Oh no, but I don't think that. But I don't think that though.
But I don't. Right. And that's why I said I don't think this is the case with Monica McNutt, because, like I said, in my opinion, and maybe everybody else's opinion, right now she's hot right now. Like, she was just on Breakfast Club doing an interview. She was on Shay Shay last night with Ocho. Yeah. She's hot right now. Like, in terms of, female sports personalities, she's at the top right now.
And by the way, she was on there today. I thought I saw
she was on there today. Yeah, I think Stephen A. and I'm about to roast him in a second, but I think Stephen A. is smart enough to realize I can't just remove her because of what happened, because she's hot right now. Right. Gotcha. So that's where that's why I think she's good. That's why I think she's good.
Okay, I can agree with that.
To Stephen A. You got cooked. You should have just took the L's. But instead, you decided to run to your platform later in the afternoon and talk about something else, not even related to what Monica McNutt was saying. This dude over here talking about, y'all know who Monica McNutt is, right? She was on First Take, right? To insinuate that the reason for her success is because of her exposure on First Take. So you basically just said that all the females, because he mentioned Kimberly Martin, he mentioned Shanae, he mentioned Andrea Carter. You're basically saying that you, without saying it word for word, you made them. Like, your platform has boosted or made their exposure, which is not the case with some of them. Which is not the case.
Well, here's what I'll say. To say that that First Take, not Stephen A. personally, but to say that First Take hasn't upped their stock is not true.
Okay.
That is.
It hasn't made them though. It hasn't made who they are.
I won't. Yeah, I won't. I won't ever.
And I think I think that's what the words he said. He was insinuating that instead of just focusing on the point, which was. All Monica McNutt said was that First Take hasn't had discussions about the WNBA 3 years ago. That's what she said. Instead, you get on your platform and say, look what I've done for Kimberly Martin. Look what I've done for Shanae Ogwumike. Look what I've done. This wasn't a diversity issue. She didn't say that First Take doesn't push diversity when it comes to having females on the platform. She didn't say that. He integrated something else in there to make it seem like that was her point when it really wasn't her point. So
and
I got a problem with that.
Yeah, what Stephen A. has got to understand, and nobody in real life judges him for it. Because let's be clear, nigga, what nobody covering nobody was covering the WNBA 3 years ago. Like nigga, keep it a buck. Keep it a buck. So instead of him sitting here on TV with his mouth apart, looking all crazy. Like, nigga, we know what First Take is. You cover the popping stories, nigga.
Yes.
So why would you
about the Cowboys?
Yeah, why would you get offended about not covering the like a Paul? Like that was some crazy statement to make.
Right.
As if to say, like, nigga, the WNBA was not popping. It just got popping just now. Yeah. Just now, nigga, like, yeah. So that's why we're talking about it now, because y'all are responding to the Caitlin Clark is hot. The Caitlin Clark being beat up all year has been the hype. So yeah, like, nigga, we know why you're covering it in the A block. Stop acting like we don't know why you're covering it in an A block. Like, nigga, like, we know what this is.
Right.
So this is the hot conversation. Y'all wanted to have a battle of the sexes on ESPN, and you looked crazy, Stephen A, taking the argument that you took, and then the next day try to say, well, it wasn't so much about gender more than it was about race. Man, get the fuck out of here. Because if it was about race, you would have said it was about race yesterday.
Right.
Yeah, like I love Steve. Don't get it twisted. I don't have like Stephen A is a pioneer in the game, and I know we don't got a lot of time. He's a pioneer in the game, but my nigga, you lost that debate. It's simple. You lost that debate, and then she dropped the mic on you by calling you out because you could have put the WNBA on your platform 3 years ago, but you didn't because it wasn't popping, and that's how I would have answered. I didn't put it on my platform 3 years ago because it wasn't popping. And what do I do as Stephen A. Smith? I cover the shit that's popping.
That's hot. The stuff that's hot right now. I got one quick theory, and then we got to wrap up.
Yeah.
So we hadn't talked about this on the podcast, but there was a story that Stephen A. and Pat McAfee had a falling out, and that's why you no longer see Pat McAfee make like appearances on First Take and stuff. So it's First Take, and then McAfee comes on right after First Take, right?
Yeah.
So here's my theory, and I don't know if this is true. I don't know if we'll ever admit it or we'll ever find out, but coming off of what happened in the episode yesterday of First Take, and then McAfee following it up with what he said about Caitlin Clark, right? I'm thinking, did McAfee watch what happened on First Take and was like, "Oh, I got to blow this out the water. I got to get the attention," and kind of one up Stephen A. It kind of felt like he was trying to one up Stephen A.
As I said earlier in the episode, that was a mistake, my G.
Yeah,
you can't be out here calling women bitches, dog.
Big time mistake, man. Man, this was a dope show, man.
Yes, sir.
Shout out to Kevin Gray, man, for stopping through. Shout out to everybody in the chat rooms, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube. I see my boy Alex in here. Our boy Alex. My boy Legacy in here. We got the folks in the IG live chats. Appreciate y'all, for stopping through. We definitely got a hot one coming next week. So continue to follow us on the platforms. At Barbershop Sports Talk Podcast is where you can find us on IG. At Barbershop SPOR2 is where you can find us on Twitter. You can follow Maestro Styles, Twitter, Facebook, IG at Maestro Styles. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Click the like button on the Facebook page. If you got questions, comments, if you want to reach out to us, hit us up on the email, barbershopsportstalk1@gmail.com. And man, nothing else, man. Enjoy the rest of the week, folks. Love, peace, happiness to everybody out there. And as always, folks, mind your damn business.
Drink some water.
Oh yeah, we got him. Trey, Frazier, and Maestro Styles, we got one. Right back like we left some. We don't duck smoke, we want all of it. So line them up, Trey sharp with the blade, we sizing it up. I'm quick to catch the fade, Styles making the cut. Cause we coming out clean every time that we showing up.
It's gonna be called The Barbershop.